In my hand right now, I'm holding a document that has completely changed my life this week. I'm assuming if you're watching this video right now, you've already got a basic understanding of the Hemi-Sync and the gateway process in this document that was declassified by the CIA, United States military, back in 2003. So what I want to talk about in this video is a different angle. I want to share, number one, my personal story, because as I was doing research, I didn't see a lot of people sharing their personal stories. They're talking about it, they're reading the document, but they're not actually explaining some of the changes they're having in their life. So that's the first one, is documenting and sharing my story. The second one is actually guiding people through this actual program. You know, as you guys are probably watching, and I'm assuming you're watching me for the first time, I worked with the famous Bob Proctor. You may maybe remember him from the movie The Secret. He was a very influential mindset coach. I was one of his consultants, and basically I worked with him for 2.5 years, and he completely changed my life. And some of the things that I'm seeing here in the gateway process is things that I learned unconsciously working with Bob Proctor that literally changed my life. Now, I'm not here to sell you anything, but I'm just here to share my story. So back in 2020, when I met the famous Bob Proctor, I was dead broke, sleeping in my car, driving for Uber, had no more than $128 in my bank account. And I went to a Bob Proctor seminar. I saved up $500, went to this event in LA, and something told me to work with him. And, you know, they're always selling something at these seminars. And I decided to work with Bob Proctor. I put $5,000 on my grandpa's credit card and committed to paying the institute, you know, $3,000 a month to pay off my tuition, you could say. And so basically I had 30 days to not only make a payment on this $5,000, I had to make a $3,000 payment just to keep access to this company. So I jumped into the Bob Proctor program that I was selling at the time. So I would sell it and teach it. But something happened to me that completely changed my life. Within 45 days, I was earning $100,000 per month. Yes, in April 2020, when I started the month of April 2020, lockdowns were happening, and I was wondering how I was going to pay my rent. I had no more than $1,000 in my bank account. Maybe I'll add like a little screenshot here. At the end of the month, I had over $111,000 be deposited into my bank account. Now, some of you may not seem real, but it was really true, and I scaled that business to 7 figures. But to this very day, I have not been able to figure out what I actually did to scale that, because to be honest, like I stumbled across something via a certain type of meditation that I have not been able to duplicate up into the period that I found this thing called the gateway process, which I'm going to be documenting over a series of videos here on my YouTube channel. Okay. So what I was doing back then with the Bob Proctor experience was I was visualizing certain aspects of my life that I wanted to change. I would fall in and out of this sleep-like state in this meditation. And more specifically, what I was visualizing during this period, I'm dead broke. It's April 2020. I would visualize myself having a fully booked out calendar. And I would bring up emotions of anxiety of being so booked out from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. that I had no time to eat. I had no time to go to the bathroom. 7 days later, I was actually fully booked out with my calendar for 5 months straight on the way to scaling, and it completely changed my life. I have not been able to duplicate that in other people. My clients have gotten results for sure, but nothing at the level of me going from 0 1 week and then earning 100 grand in 14 days and scaling from there. And I haven't been able to duplicate it in myself, to be quite honest. Like I haven't been able to figure out what the heck did I do. And so when I came across this gateway process, and I heard about this a couple months ago, just via, on YouTube, I got recommended, and I did a meditation here or there, but I didn't really deep dive into actually what is being said in the CIA document, what is the gateway process, what is Hemi-Sync. And over the last, I would say 5 days or so, I've been diving so deep into this, doing about 4 to 5 meditations a day, trying to understand what this is, because something in my intuition is drawing me really down into this gateway process, because I think that this is the missing link that I figured out back in 2020 that literally scaled my business to 7 figures overnight, or 100 grand a month overnight, when I was dead broke. And I think it has to do with the meditations that I was doing that I accidentally stumbled across. And then the Bob Proctor avenue, or the business I was running, was just the way in which the money came to me. Hopefully that's making sense. So what I'm trying to do in this series right now is to debunk what I actually did, and how we as a group, I'm not here to sell you anything, how we as a group can actually take this CIA document, learn the meditations, which is basically closing your eyes and reprogramming your mind, but then also marrying it with actual tangible psychological results that I've learned from my mentor, Bob Proctor, to actually gain real life results in our life. Now, a lot of people will take this information, like Dr. Joe Dispenza. I went to a couple of his week-long retreats as well. A lot of people will take this material and they'll want to get healthy, wealthy, be more creative, all these different things. And that's totally fine. But what I'm going to focus on this specific part of this gateway process, as we're documenting and going through each and every lesson, I'm going to go through each and every lesson. What we're going to be focusing on in this first wave, I guess you can say, is actually getting wealthy. I truly believe, I was doing a meditation today in the actual gateway process. I believe that in order to become mentally free, right? We can become mentally free by doing these meditations and pulling our mind out of our body, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But to be really free, you have to be wealthy, because in order to have the time frame, think about this. Are you ever stressed out about bills? Are you stressed out about getting clients? Are you stressed out about the business? Are you stressed out about different aspects of your life that could be solved with having wealth, right? Maybe you have a family member that's in the hospital. Maybe you need a surgery or something of this sort. But obviously, wealth is not, our money, it's by itself is not going to change your life completely. But I believe that it is a foundational aspect that each and every one of us need to have. We need to be wealthy so that we can be mentally at peace, spiritually at peace, emotionally at peace, so that we can explore higher aspects of life. Because how can we sit here and, for example, and spend weeks on end meditating 2, 3, 4 hours a day, but yet you have a job, and yet you have a business, and yet you're not having the money that you want? So in this very first round, we're going to be taking these meditations, and I'm going to be molding it, because it can be molded into whichever avenue. We're going to be molding it into actually building wealth. Over the last 5 days, I've been diving deep into the gateway process and actually doing the meditations. I actually just finished up wave 3 of the program and moving into wave 4, which we'll talk about later on in the channel. But with that being said, some of the things that I've experienced doing this meditation is the level of depth, both from a scientific level and from other levels that I've learned even working with Bob Proctor. Because some of the things I learned from Bob Proctor is that, for example, the law of vibration. The law of vibration states that everything is moving, nothing rests. Therefore, the law of attraction states that whatever vibration or frequency you're on, you're going to attract that based on the law of vibration. Okay, so whatever energy or emotions you're feeling, right? So I've been studying and teaching this for years, but now coming here to the gateway process and learning how to actually pull my mind out of the body, get my both hemispheres of my brain connected together using something called the Hemi-Sync process, which we'll talk about later. It's been something that's been really big. And so what I've been noticing over the last couple of days is I'm seeing synchronizations. I'm feeling more at peace, and I feel a deeper sense of what I'm trying to build in my life, and the new reality that I'm trying to create is actually starting to come true. There's not a doubt if it's going to come, that I actually feel like I'm bending the reality to my will. Now, obviously, I'm not an expert in this, and my goal is not to claim that I'm an expert, but to actually document the series, go lesson by lesson. So the very next video, we're actually going to be going through the CIA document. Then we're going to be followed up with, I have all the documents here printed out for you. Then the second thing we're going to be going through is the actual workbook. I didn't know there was a workbook that comes with it. So we'll be going through the workbook, and I'll be guiding you through every single chapter of the workbook. And then we'll be following up with the intermediate workbook right here. So like I said, my goal with this, and one of the best things that I learned from my mentor, Bob, is that you don't fully understand something until you could teach it to somebody else so that they can understand it. So really selfishly, I'm going to be teaching you this information all completely free here on my YouTube channel, taking you through each lesson based on my interpretation. I'm not an expert. I'm not endorsed by the Monroe Institute. I'm just going through my personal records, showing you each and every lesson and every document that I'm going through and applying to, and literally manifesting right in front of you everything that I'm bending into my reality. So if you guys want to do something like this, go ahead and subscribe below. Let's go through each lesson of the document, and I'll see you on the very next video. Take care.